Hey, you have Patrick Findaro here, co-founder at Vetted Biz and Visa franchise. Excited to have on Erik Helgeson as well as his business partner, Stephen Bruce. They're both the co-founders and partners at PayMore. They're going to tell us all about the world of electronics resales and their story and why they decided to go into franchising. But before I speak too much for them, Erik, Stephen, how did you come up with the concept and why did you switch focus to the electronics space?
Hey Patrick, thanks for having us. I'll jump in on that question. So we started off together, Eric and I, even though we've only been franchising for about 4 years now. We started our journey together 20 years ago, back in 2004. A friend introduced us, and we actually got into the secondhand industry at that point in time. We opened a retail store in Long Island, New York. I was not just focused on electronics. In fact, electronics wasn't really a driver product that we were looking to get into.
What
We
was it mostly? Like, what
we
was the,
anything we could take in to make a profit. So
all
anything from
right.
collectibles to jewelry to
So would
clothing.
you call this was like a pawn shop for someone
It-
that's ignorant of the industry?
right. We don't like the P word, the pawn shop, but yeah, it was similar to a pawn shop where we didn't do any collateral or anything of that nature. It was really we were taking items in and mostly on consignment. So we ran that business for about 5 years. We did a heck of a lot wrong, more wrong than we did right, but we learned a lot. And the idea from Paymore really stemmed towards the end of that first 5 year stint. Electronics at that point in time, it was 2010. It was starting to switch from a need to a necessity for most people. It was our most voluminous product. It was our most profitable product. When Erik tells you a little bit about himself, he's got a heavy background in technology and coding and software, so it was a natural fit there. And we wanted to really focus on electronics and also create optionality. There's really not any optionality in the electronics world outside of what we're doing. There wasn't then, and there really isn't now. So really, your choices are to go to Apple and buy a $3,000 phone, or maybe go to Best Buy and get a gift card and buy something new off their shelves. So we wanted to give a pre-owned optionality, to really the greater public
I can
that
relate to
wasn't
that
there.
as like not like a huge connoisseur of like getting the latest Apple phone. Like I'm fine paying like a fraction of the cost and
Most people are
getting
once
it
they're educated
workable.
and they realize they can do that, right? So, that was part of it. The other part of it was, and going back to the pawn shop, the secondhand industry is highly stigmatized, right? I mean, Eric and I grew up in middle class homes in Long Island, and if there was a comfortable, fair secondhand store, especially for electronics or gaming back at that point in time, I think my family would have been there every week, almost every day,
Yeah.
right?
No, I know my uncle was always going to all different types of estate sales, and I don't know if it's a thing on Long Island, but I would always hear him talking about that.
Sure, sure. Yeah, we went through a few of those back in the day when we had that secondhand store. But we really wanted to change and really disrupt and really blow up the secondhand industry. We wanted to kind of bring it to the forefront, make it comfortable, clean, friendly stores. You get a fair deal. Eric and I always joke that we want a store where a soccer mom would feel comfortable coming in with her kids and a bag full of electronics, right? So we took those two principles and we repermutated the business as Paymore in 2011. So we went to a new store in Long Island, New York, Massapequa. That's actually still our corporate store today. And we were off and running. And I guess the last part of that was, there was really no software for the secondhand industry as well. So, it was done in the shadows. Where the record keeping was iffy at best. So Eric took it on his shoulders and really built our Paymore POS system, which is really what drives a lot of our success today. And it's the moat from where we're looking into that. If anyone does want to come into this industry, we have this 15-year proprietary product that teaches our franchisees and allows our stores to run pretty efficiently. So that was 2011. Why we got into franchising, fast forward 5 6 years, we picked our heads up in about 2016 17. We had lines out the door. We're in a location now that we certainly wouldn't approve in our franchise today. It's more of a D location. We were doing millions of dollars of sales every single year, and we didn't do a stitch of marketing. We knew that we unlocked the code. We knew that we had something. Our customer base was very diverse, younger, older, all different ages, all different, capital demographics as far as income goes. So we looked at each other and we knew that we had to expand. I have a deep background in commercial real estate as well in New York City. And I looked at Eric and said, let's open more stores. But we knew this really needed to be in every community, urban, suburban, otherwise. So at that point in time, we researched and we looked into franchising. Even though Erik and I are pretty aggressive in business, we're conservative by nature. So we took a couple of years to put together the right team. In 2020, we started franchising, and it's really been like a rocket ship since then. We have 181 stores under development in our system. We're in 19 states, and probably by the end of next year, with the LOIs and the new prospects that we have in, we'll probably be at 250 to 300 stores by the end of next year, and probably 30 plus states. So it's been exciting growth the last few years for sure.
And was this a side hustle for both of you, or at what point did one of you jump like full in on PayMore?
I've been in the secondhand industry since Stephen mentioned, and Stephen was always there with me, sometimes more as a consultant or more as rolling the sleeves up. So it was always in our blood to do this, and it was never a real side hustle. It was always a passion. We knew that we had to get it to a level that we could scale it, and we finally were able to do that.
And I don't know all that much about the space, but I've died into some businesses. Like I think it's Black Market maybe, or some French startup that's doing electronic resales. Like how does that online resale market compare to the retail, and what's the need for the retail on this?
Our business is unique in the sense that we're multi-channel. We sell in retail, we sell online, we sell in secondhand markets. We're able to create custom data feeds and import our products across any e-commerce site that wants us. We can get our products on there. So e-commerce sales are a huge part of our business. We love to talk with our franchisees, and they say, oh, we came in on Monday, we were making money all night, all weekend, and we came in and it was there. We're shipping packages out. So we're the type of business that makes money while you're sleeping. So the e-commerce side of things is big for us, but the retail is just as unique because there's no organized, clean space to get a dependable pre-owned product at a great price with a warranty where you can still come in and feel that and shop as a good traditional shopper. And retail will never die. In fact, we're seeing it tick up as we continue to expand our stores.
And what's the breakdown in terms of in-store versus out-of-store purchases?
Right now, we're hovering around 70% e-commerce, about 30% retail.
Solid. And what are the economics look like? Like someone comes in one of the stores, sells their iPhone, whatever, 13, like how much does PayMore keep? What do you sell to the customer? Like, could you just like use some rough like economics of your business model?
It's tough to give you that because we're a portfolio buying business, right? So we're buying an iPhone, we're buying which may be cracked in last year's model, or something that is 4 years ago, a game system that has a broken CD drive. We're buying that. We're buying a digital camera. We're not just out there to buy the best product. We're there to help the customer too. We want to help them declutter, reduce their electronic waste, get paid for it, put some money back in their pocket. So across all of those different products, we have varying margins, if you will.
And is there any minimum, or will you sometimes talk to the customer and be like, hey, look, you can recycle this, but you're honestly, we can't sell this at the moment, or we're barely going to get anything?
Exactly. So one of the strong points of our business is having that customer interaction and developing that relationship. And that's where we differ from like the site you mentioned, or a mail-in website or something like that. If a customer comes in with something and we can't help them, we would recycle it free of charge for them. So they're still, doing their part for the environment. It wasn't a waste of time. They come in, they can meet us. That often turns into a repeat interaction there, because once they come into our store and they start to see, how we operate and our staff and our beautiful build outs and how convenient it is, they feel safe. They feel like this is a place where they can come back, get a great deal on something. So we'll recycle it free of charge for them. No problem.
Yeah. And that becomes viral where Erik, Stephen don't have to spend as much money, or their franchisees on marketing.
Correct.
Yeah. I mean, I can definitely see that from a consumer perspective. I don't want to like mail a phone and then wait like a week to say, oh, actually, you're not going to get that much money for it. It's just easier to go in person with like a lot of different products after cleaning up the house.
That's really it. That's really it. And one of the things that we've learned over this journey is that, some people don't even understand what model they have. They have a better model than what they're putting in, or they're confused on maybe the generation of a specific device. So it's easier to do that right there at the counter and explain to them and show them, that this is the product, this is what it's worth, this is what we can give you. We're paying you cash today. We're not sending a check out. You don't have to mail it. As you said, it's going to get lost in the mail. So we're able to keep the most honest transaction possible right there, and then wipe that device in front of them. So they're not worrying that, well, maybe I didn't wipe it when I sent it off to XYZ Electronics somewhere in a different state that I've never heard about, just because they had a fancy price. So we do the customer justice right there. We help them, and they love it.
What's harder in terms of like the marketplace? Is it more finding buyers or the sellers of the products, or does it just matter day, month?
We have a constant flow. I mean, the appetite for used electronics is insatiable, and we're moving to an international focus as well. So we're just getting started, and we can buy and sell whatever it is quickly.
And for franchisees, do they start with some like initial inventory to, they open up and they already have the shelves stocked, or how does that work?
Great question. So we joke about this, but after 30 days, they're packed full of stuff if they follow our system. But before that, just so people aren't walking into an empty store, we do provide a kind of a startup inventory, and that really comes from the previous franchisee that just opened. So we're sourcing the devices from our other stores to get to them, and that's just a minimal kit.
How are the franchisees interacting, and how do you guys foster that collaboration?
We have an internal private chat server that we've developed, and everyone's a part of that, whether that's staff, franchisees, managers, new stores that signed on but have yet to build yet. And we're all in there speaking. It's broken down to different channels, education, ongoing experiences. Our directors of support are in there at all times. We're following everyone's journey. We're helping staff in real time. We're helping franchisees in real time. So we've brought them all together in one place, and that's where the magic happens.
What's the infrastructure look like? Because I know you have franchisees that are operating numerous locations. So it's not an owner operator model where it's just a guy in a store. What does the infrastructure look like in the first year and then, 5 years in with multiple stores?
We're highly scalable. So, Stephen, do you want to take that?
Yeah, sure. So we look at things differently. We like to consider ourselves the kind of the new age franchisor. We want people to be working in the store. We don't want to be a 10th brand in their portfolio. So either, somebody, and it's unique, right? Because we're one of one, we are the industry. So it's not going from a pizza franchise to a hamburger franchise where there's a lot of carryover from one food to the next. So we really require somebody from ownership or management in their structure being in the store for the first several months. Now, we've seen that these are highly scalable. The POS system and software is all web-based. You can really manage your stores from your house or your office. But we want them to be in the store to learn that business. And even though they may be able to pull themselves out in 2 to 3 months because it is highly scalable and quickly scalable, we want them to be in there and really have some skin in the game and understand. They can certainly hire a managing director or GM, going forward, but we want them to be in the store, from day one. And also, we run our stores off of 3 to 4 people. So our flagship store is about 1,600 square feet. So, it can run without a manager there. But again, we want them to go ahead and get that exposure, at least in the first few months, so they can go on and open their second and third and fourth store.
What are we talking about in terms of the all-in investment?
There really isn't a lot to our stores, and we've worked on getting our stores fully modular. So there's not a lot of links in the chain. Again, going back to food where you have, 14 different contractors and 100 different SKUs that you got to fill. It's one contractor. He comes in and he puts all of the cabinetry in place. Outside of that, it's just some desks and some computers. So we've gotten the cost down, let's say for our average 1,600 square foot flagship store, it's about $125,000.
Okay, that's pretty solid. I imagine your years in the commercial real estate space have helped with that.
Yeah, I oversee the commercial real estate. We also partnered with a national company to help. We don't mandate our franchisees to use the group that we have. And that's, again, going back to kind of the way that we look at things different from an archaic or a traditional franchisor where, you have to use certain people, you have to be a certain way. Obviously, we want a certain standard of quality, but we want to keep our build out and our investment low cost. And, a lot of times when you're putting separate links in the chain, it elongates the process and makes it more expensive. And we don't want to do that. We want to keep our costs down. We want to keep it nimble and pass that on to the franchisee. But that being said, going back to kind of the real estate, we don't need to be in AAA locations, which is a really, really important point because it's kind of counterintuitive to most traditional retail where you have to be on the corner next to Chipotle and the Apple store, paying $80, $100 a foot in rent. We're a destination point. So we thrive in B centers, and our sales would be the same in that A location as it is in a B location because people are finding us and going to our store as a destination.
So the landlord probably likes you a lot.
Yeah, listen, we don't have any capital equipment. We don't have any grilling. We don't have any venting. We don't need special HVAC. We don't need special electric. All we need is a B center and a vanilla box. And I've yet to find, and I speak to landlords all day, every day, now helping out negotiating the leases. I haven't found a landlord nationwide that is not willing to at least provide us with that vanilla box. And the landlord gets their rent in 3 months because it takes us 2 to 3 months to open. So the franchisee is making money quicker. The landlord is getting their rent quicker. It works for everybody.
Are there any special permits that you need, or does it vary state by state?
It goes from municipality to town, but we've opened stores without any interior permitting because really it's just a vanilla box and we're putting up a non-demising wall. Outside of that, we don't even need special electric. So it's really just painting and maybe some ceiling tiles and some flooring. Permitting you may have it in some more restrictive towns, maybe some exterior signage, but again, it's a very easy lift compared to traditional retail.
And then, any special, permit or license for selling secondhand goods or electronic goods, or no?
You would need just a secondhand dealer's license, so not to be confused with a pawn license. They're separate. Different states and different counties have different laws with that, but it's not a pawn license.
Okay, and it's pretty straightforward process.
Sure, yeah, it's pretty easy. It could take a week or two to be approved. Some of the states that we're operating in, they do it online. You get it the next day. It's very basic. So
okay, yeah, I'm sure a lot of the franchisees that are coming over from the food space with like a hood and all different types of permits are excited to
70% of our franchisees have come from food.
And for food, you're talking about 120 all in. They're probably used to $500K, $1 million investment. It seems like the average unit volume is like pretty similar or even more for you guys, brand. Is the operating profit similar, like in the 10 to 20% space, or what do you see for your industry or PayMore?
You said it right on the, head on the nail, is that, they could open up 5 or 6 of these and do, the same sales as one of their restaurants, right? And we believe in quality of life also, even though Erik and I work 200 hours a week. We're family men, and we always wanted to have a concept and a business that allows people quality of life. So our store hours, as opposed to food again, is a rather of a light lift. It's typically our stores are open 10 to 7 Monday through Friday and 11 to 4 on Saturday. And that's it. I think when you think about our business, traditional retailers and operators, they really have to kind of shift the way that you're thinking about how you make money in this business, because you make money while the lights are off. Where if you're serving sandwiches, the lights have to be on for you to make money. Our biggest days are Saturday and Sunday when we're closed, when people are online shopping, because 70% of our revenue is derived from that e-commerce.
Yeah, so the 10 to 7 or the Saturday, it's like there's some purchases happening, but it's a lot of collections, and then e-commerce is happening around the clock, if I understand correctly.
Right. So those are operating hours for people to come in and trade in and also shop, but the sales are coming in online. All day, every hour. We have a notification go off. We have to turn it off because it just keeps annoying you. Every 15 minutes, every 7 minutes, a new sale comes in. It's the new franchisees love that in the beginning, but they'll silence it after a while.
Yeah, I imagine too, I'd imagine the break even happens a lot faster than some of these other concepts, especially that have like a long build out period where they can get open fast and start making money fast and then start recouping their initial capital investment.
Yeah, and that's a key point. And that's kind of illustrated by the upsizing of our initial franchisees. And we're very proud of this number, that over 80% of our franchisees that have joined our system have either upsized or grabbed more open territories within 6 months of them starting in our system. So it's a unique concept where it is one of one. So, someone may not come in and say, you know what, I want all of Texas. But, once they have their stores operating and they see those qualities that we just mentioned before, typically they come back to the table and, want to expand. So we like to, think that we have some pretty impressive metrics and just a different way of doing business than, the traditional and older retail and franchisors that are out there.
I know you've touched on it a bit in the last 20 minutes, but what are you looking for in a franchisee?
Yeah, great question. And our mindset has kind of progressed, over the years, right? But, we want, and it may sound corny, we want good people, right? So we want people that we enjoy working with, that we, don't mind to have dinner with, every time we see them. And that's a true and honest way that we've looked at things. We've said no to a lot of people. Everyone that we have, and we have several a day now, these pre-discovery day calls. Most of them are qualified. Most of them have a bank account, but we look beyond that. And you can call any of our franchisees and really see the quality of people that we have. But beyond that, what we've seen really rise to the top are one of two, and hopefully both, is that either they have a structure or a team around them, that they're coming in with a partner, maybe a balancing partner like Erik and I handle the business side of things. Erik handles the operation side of things, and it just balances perfectly. If they have that coming into it, we feel a lot more comfortable, bringing them to the next step. And then also somebody who has scaled something before. I know that's a general statement, but typically it's somebody who's been in franchising, that has had 50 different sub shops or 100 different auto shops and have been able to scale. But it's not only franchising or different businesses. It's also, we have a lot of people coming out of corporate America that have had a high paying corporate job and in maybe a tech field or something similar, and they've built teams. So they've built and operated a 10, a 20 person team, and have seen success there. So it's really, somebody who's scaled before and coming in with a semblance of a structure, how they're able to, quickly expand, into store number 2 and number 3.
Yeah. From all that we've studied in the most successful franchise systems, it seems like usually the franchisees were already successful before and they, turned it up a notch, but they already had some level of success. And whether it was scaling a team or a monetary, they're generally entering into the system are already pretty accomplished. What are your guys like core values, or I don't know, for you individually or you two or the company, like are certain traits that you really, want to see in people to enjoy those dinners and enjoy those times you're going to spend together with the franchisees over the next 10 plus years?
Yeah, I think it really comes down to, just as Stephen mentioned, being a good person, and that to quantify that's really just having the respect, empathy, wanting to help people, not really coming into this business as a pawn shop type, gunslinging mentality. We're looking to give great deals on these products that we're purchasing, and build something in the community. We're not looking to stand up there at the front desk and take advantage of people. So, we usually spot that right away, and that's really how we filter people out, and we want to make sure that they're coming on for the right reasons.
Yeah, that's part of disrupting the secondhand industry as a whole. Is that when you're sitting in front of somebody on the counter, you're gonna feel how that person reacts towards you, or how that person interacts. And we really pride ourselves on the repeat customer rate, which is another thing we're very proud of. The average secondhand store repeat customer rate, and this includes pawn shops, is in the single digits. We're 10xing that. A store has been open 6 months or more, we have well over a 70% repeat customer rate. So that's part of the disruption, that once they go through the experience of our secondhand store, which we believe is the highest level of kind of a secondhand execution, that they're a customer. So that's part of the education. And that's why everywhere we put one of these stores, within the first year, we become the highest grossing secondhand store in that area, just because of the execution and the way that we run it, and the people that are behind the counter, the people that we bring in, trustworthy, and they're going to handle the customer the right way.
Yeah, it makes total sense. Empathy, respect. If the owner is leading the charge and with those core values, it's going to go down to the employees and then obviously to the customers as well.
Correct.
Do you have like your competitors? Are they just like the independent secondhand stores, or is there anyone doing this, I guess, through like a corporate model?
There's no organized fashion the way that we're doing it. No,
Yeah.
Not the way that we're pioneering on the tech side, the data side, and our experience and our corporate staff. We have a great staff of directors here that have combined experience of over 30 years. These guys and girls here in the office know just about everything about anything electronic wise. So all that put together, no, I don't see the competition.
As Erik likes to say, we're a technology and data company. We just happen to sell electronics and a retail outfit. So no one's leading the charge through technology like we are in a formed, regimented franchise process.
And it seems like, yeah, you mentioned that moat with the software, but now with 250 plus locations opening up in the next couple of years, like that data further becomes a competitive moat, and being able to probably adjust prices and how you, I guess, go about your business.
That's right. I mean, every new store that comes online is just pumping more data into this feed. Every staff member that comes on and clicks a mouse or hits a keystroke, that's adding value to us. So as we continue to grow, that proprietary data set continues to grow and become more valuable inside our company.
Can you think of anything that we didn't touch on that would be of interest to prospective franchisees?
Yeah, I think we're kind of just getting started. I mean, we're implementing. We've perfected what we've done as far as kind of the walk-in traffic, but there's so many other things that we're putting into the system without forgetting our kind of core value and our core service line. But we're opening up our B2B channels as well, which is the next progression of our business. Helping out businesses and churches and schools and entities, find a safe and fair solution for their IT or excess technology. We have a stat that in the U.S. there's about $700 billion of unused electronics out there, and that the average household has about $6,500 of unused or just kind of stagnant electronics around the house. So we're really educating the public, one store at a time. And these podcasts are great, speaking to influential and talented people like yourself to get the word out there that, there is a service that, we can help you monetize or, cleanly wipe or just keep your, electronics out of a landfill with our recycling program. So it's really just about our education, about our product and our service. And I have no doubt that we'll have feet on the ground and stores in all 50 states over the next few years.
Yeah, I look forward to visiting one of the Miami locations. Any expected date of opening down here in Miami-Dade?
Yeah, so we're just signing 2 leases, one in Miami-Dade and one in Broward. And we should have several more right behind that. We also have one open in Green Acres in Palm Beach as well.
Well, definitely I'll keep that on my radar. As Miami Beach, as much as the city strives for sustainability and all these, buzzwords, it's like super difficult to recycle electronics and, just to get all my electronics that I'm not using recycled. And if I get some money back, that's a plus. What's the best way for people to get in contact with you guys?
They can visit our website, which is www.paymore.com. They can come right on there, hit the contact button, or they can reach out to our franchising partners at FranSmart, which is fransmart.com.
Perfect. Really appreciate having you guys on. Thanks, Erik. Thanks, Steven.
Thanks for having us, Patrick.
Thanks, Patrick.